What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tyrone Hunter, the Head Hunter, back in the building one more again. You see the title, I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So pretty much based on the title, and you know, that's just how I feel. That's just my thoughts. I feel that if King Von didn't get murdered, that he would have been charged and he would have been convicted with the OBLOCK6 in the RICO trial for the murder of FBG Duck. So, you know, first and foremost, rest in peace to FBG Duck. Rest in peace to King Von. You know, rest in peace to the other individuals that lost their life as a result of the war in Chirac, the war in Chicago. And this is a sad situation. I really wasn't going to touch on the video, you know, from the perspective of the OBLOCK6 getting convicted, because following the case initially, I saw or I heard about the information that they had, and I just felt within myself that they was cooked. And so for me, it's no new information. But I just find it ironic to a great extent that King Von, may he rest in peace, lost his life so that he wouldn't serve the rest of his life in prison. God did. And this is not a religious video, but I mean, you know, pretty much God moves in mysterious ways, right? And, you know, that just said to me that even though King Von was alleged to have done some of the things that he did in life, you know, that he was a decent dude after it was all said and done. Not by what I'm saying or what I feel or what anybody else saying or what anybody else feel. The man upstairs said it, because explain to me how King Von get murdered a year before, you know, this case go to trial, and all of these individuals get convicted, and they said King Von was the one that's supposed to put the money up for them to kill FBG Duck. King Von gets murdered. They get found guilty. So if he was alive, wouldn't it be safe to assume that she would have got convicted along with them? So that's why I feel that King Von getting murdered is not to say that him getting murdered was a better alternative, because I'm pretty sure his family feel differently. But I think that God moved in this particular situation, and God said, well, you know, I feel he did enough time in jail already, and instead of me putting him in jail for the rest of his life, I give him eternal rest, because I don't think King Von would have stopped. Like, he was already too locked into his life, his lifestyle. When you go back into his history, you know, his father, who goes by the name of Silk, with the same kind of individual. So it's kind of like King Von inherited that way of behaving. And unfortunately, when you live by the sword, you know, you die by the sword. And, you know, he was taken back to his maker. May he rest in peace. But and that's another that's another thing that I want to touch on, even in terms of how King Von got murdered. If we look back at King Von's murder, which happened a couple of years ago, right? So King Von had a fight, and they say he was getting the best of Quando Rondo. And then Quando Rondo's friend, Lil Tim, jumped out up that pipe, started hitting King Von. And then the police returned fire, you know, and they let off quite a few shots. And then as a result, you know, a few people got killed. A couple other people got killed alongside King Von, right? And so King Von was known as a demon. He was known as a murderer, a killer. They even went so far as to call him a serial killer. And he was given that title because of the amount of people that he had killed. Okay? Most everybody who know King Von, they knew he was a killer. They said he was a demon. He was on demon time. He was always ready for war, ready for action. He was part of the Get Back gang, allegedly. He gonna get up with you. He's alleged to have killed quite a few people. But if the world knows him to be a killer, what make him think that he could get into a fist fight, altercation with somebody, and that's just gonna be that? Especially Quando Rondo and Little Tim, they knew that he was a killer. And what happened if what happened if Quando Rondo got the best of him? His crew probably would have killed Quando Rondo right there on the scene. So I think for Quando Rondo and Lil Tim was like, well, we're not going to take this chance, because based on how the fight play out, we don't know if it's going to be some retaliation, or we don't know if, he going to be looking to take it to the next step and, taking our lives. So that's why I think it played out the way that it did, because the man upstairs, whomever you believe him to be, you believe him to be God, Allah, Buddha. We're not putting a name or a title. We just saying, the creator, okay, to be politically correct, the creator. I believe that the creator had bigger plans for Vaughn, and this is why he allowed life to play out for Vaughn the way that it did. But I mean, what's your thoughts? Do y'all feel that, if King Vaughn was living, that he would have got around the charges some way, somehow? Or do you think he would have been found guilty of the charges? And that also begs the question, like, do people really think that violence is the answer? You think you're just going to commit a violent act and you're going to celebrate, you're going to toast, you're going to tell some people, you're going to share some posts on social media, people are going to know that you did it, and that's it? No, there's going to be consequences behind it, and these are the consequences behind those gentlemen actions. So now, not only did FBG Duck lose his life, but now you also have 6 individuals that's going to spend the rest of their life in jail for the murder of FBG Duck, who was killed in the Gold Coast in Chicago. So that's 7 lives right there. Then you have the lives of FBG Duck kids that's going to be affected. You have FBG Duck mother. You have his brothers and sisters. You have his friends, the people that was close to him. You have the kids of the OBLOCK 6 members that got found guilty of murder and going to spend the rest of their life in jail. They're never going to be able to raise their kids. Their mothers and fathers, is affected. Their relatives. It's like, come on, we could easily say 50 lives, a minimum of 50 lives was affected by the choices of individuals who felt like, okay, well, our issues are so deep that we're going to take it to the streets and we're going to kill this person. So when you in your car, when you listening to your music, when you ready to slide, when you ready to go on a mission, let certain things play out in your head. And don't just look at the part of the equation that you say you're about to slide on your ops and that's all that you're thinking about. You have to think a little bit deeper. You have to realize, how many lives is going to be affected by, your choices and your decisions. And it was even somebody that said, King Von passing is the reason why the passing of King Von is the reason why Little Dirk got around the robbery and shooting case that him and King Von had together in Atlanta. And I want to know, what's your thoughts on that? Because they both got locked up. King Von and Lil Durk, they got locked up for a robbery in Atlanta and for shooting. They was alleged to have robbed somebody and shot at somebody and they both was arrested. Both was going back and forth to court. But then now King Von dies, and all of a sudden, mysteriously, the charges is dropped against Lil Durk. So do y'all think the charges was dropped because the prosecutor was leaning more towards King Von being a robber and a shooter? Or do you think that Lil Durk or his lawyer kind of somehow said or put out there or alleged or utilized the reputation of King Von to say, well, look, Lil Durk is just a rapper and this guy is the... So don't look at my client, look at him. And if that was the case, that's dirty. I mean, the streets is... You know, I pray for all y'all in the streets and, you know, y'all that's out there running the streets and thinking y'all gonna beat the streets. Yeah. So, you know, tell me what y'all think, though. Do you think that King Von would have been arrested and charged and convicted along with the OBLOCK6? Do you think he wouldn't have got convicted? Do you think I'm reaching? What do you think about the charges being dropped about Durk? And what do you think the fate gonna be of them boys that took out Big Jook, that took out Young Dolph? You know, so may Big Jook and may, you know, Dolph rest in peace as well. But this is just another example, people, of how when you take the law into your own hands and you call yourself going out there committing an act of violence, killing somebody, that chances are, if you're caught, you could potentially spend your life, the rest of your life in jail, just like the OBLOCK6. So this is not about preaching, this is about teaching, this is about sharing information. So if you have kids, you have brothers out there, you have people that you know, you have relatives, share this information with them and let them know that this is going to be the consequences of their actions if they call themselves out there riding and sliding and putting work and putting pain in on demon time, as they say, you know? But yeah, man, it's your boy Tyrone Hunter, the Head Hunter. Yeah, and let me know what's really good. Yeah, let me know what's really good. Catch you in the next one. We out of here.